You can think of people who are so charismatic that they seem to put a spell on the people around them. They have this magnetism to them. We were discussing in the live yesterday about embodying this new level of light. When you take on this new level of light, you're embodying this new level of magnetism of abundance, of this ease and flow, this magnetism that draws people to you. Light reveals the shadows, and as the shadows come up within you and you purge them, be present with them and process them, you develop this magnetism through your ability to transform and transmute. It's an alchemical process of transmutation through the heart. You also gain new powers of the awareness, of the power of your mind, of your intentions, of what you focus on, and of your heart, and the emotions you can generate within you. Discovering your true self awakens these latent powers within you of being able to shape the reality that you experience. You can feel this depth of mastery within yourself, and others can sense it too. A key component of this ability of transmutation and transformation is unconditional love. This is the love that you extend towards others and towards yourself. Whenever you imagine a situation in your mind with someone else, you are entering the magic chamber, the storehouse of ideas that can manifest into reality. You are entering a space where you have projections of yourself facing you in your imagination. If you often imagine situations with other people where other people are thinking negatively of you, are putting you down, are insulting you, are criticizing you, this is all a reflection of any lack of love that you extend towards yourself. What we can do is we can build up that love within ourselves and notice when that love is lacking. Building up and welling up this love within yourself, for yourself, develops and nurtures that inner magnetism where you can be the person who puts a spell on other people. Whatever positive things you imagine someone saying or doing towards you, these are all suggestions, and every other person always has their own free will as to whether they will accept these suggestions that you imagine. So by imagining them saying something positive about you, it's not infringing on their free will. And remember, you acting as if they had complimented you in the greatest way possible does have an effect of putting a spell on people and magnetizing them in. So I'm going to do this exercise for myself, and you can either listen to and decide you want to use the same suggestions and imaginations that I'm using, or you can use this as an inspiration to create your own imagination. You can use a journal to write them down and take some time to just imagine it in your mind, whatever inspires you, whatever brings you into a place where you feel empowered, you feel enticing, alluring, interesting, magnetic. Imagine whatever inspires you into a space of being the kind of person you want to be perceived as by others. So the first thing we're going to do is imagine a person. And imagine what they're saying about you to their closest confidants. And one suggestion I have for you is, if you see beautiful qualities in this person, imagine them saying the same beautiful qualities about you. We project our own beauty onto others. Sometimes the qualities that we admire in others are latent qualities within ourselves. And so through this exercise, we acknowledge to ourselves what we desire to be. So imagine this person talking to someone. They're talking about you, and their eyes light up. They kind of mist over. They develop this glassy quality to them, and their face softens, and it fills with wonder. And they say about you that you're like a star. And imagine them imagining you like this bright, shining star, almost as if, like, put yourself in their shoes, in their perspective, and they're imagining you in a scenario where they saw you, but then put almost like a filter on top of you. So you're standing in their shoes, and you're looking at you through their eyes, and you have the objective image of you. On top of that image, layer on top of that this filter, where it's almost like you're this shining star. It's almost like the northern lights are emanating from you. Now we want to get a little bit ridiculous with this because we're creating magic here, right? This is the spell that we're doing really upon ourselves. And then, so imagine that they are having this image of you that's this radiant, incredible star, and there is this like rays of light beaming off of you, and they have, when they think of you, they have this feeling of awe, like being awestruck, like they've seen and witnessed something incredibly beautiful and amazing. You're imagining that they're imagining this when they think of you, and they say to the person they're talking to that you're like a star, and you're illuminating and enchanting. And imagine them saying this with this sense of awe in their voice, this hushed tone, as if they're standing in a cathedral, and it is this attitude of not worship, but this reverence, this attitude of reverence. And then they say something that you didn't expect them to say. They say that it's like you're their guiding light. And you imagine the meaning that you are someone who embodies that kind of light, that it's a form of leadership, that they were immersed in the mundane aspect of their life and even somewhat satisfied with it until they met you, and they were awakened to the magic and the power that is present and possible in their lives, and you represent that to them, almost like you're a guiding light or this guiding star in their life. This might not be appropriate to imagine with everyone that you could imagine it with, but pick and choose. If this inspires something within you to imagine, as you're inspired, write it down. And then you can capture a little bit of what inspires you. You can do a voice recording. You can even do a voice recording similar to what I'm doing now that you can listen to later. It's a way to preserve that inspiration of the moment so you can access it later and solidify it through repetition. Imagining people saying incredible things about you, wow, that is a beautiful thing for you just to do for yourself, just to imagine yourself as that incredible person. And what that is revealing to you is a desire within yourself to be that. And if that desire exists, the possibility for that also exists. So we're going to continue with this imagination in the same vein. Yeah, so they're continuing this conversation, and maybe the person that you're imagining, that the person they're talking with says, wow, it sounds like this person has a lot of depth to them, and that you have a lot of respect for them. And the person you're imagining of says, yes. When they're talking about you, they say they're very self-aware and self-realized. They have this inner power and inner strength to them. It's almost as if they stand alone in this world of their own, even while surrounded by others. And it's almost like they have the sun shining on them when others are experiencing a rainy day. They are unbothered by the trivialities that most people are wrapped up in, and are so pure and so focused that they have this sense of being untouchable within them. And maybe by now, you might be thinking, wow, this person really has a lot of insight into me if they know this much about you. But of course, this is something you're imagining within yourself, so it is a reflection of you. And this person remarks on how you're creative and you have this passion within you that inspires and motivates them. You're tenacious and independent. You've got that fire, that drive within you. And if you've been feeling struggle lately, maybe you can imagine feeling, wow, I didn't realize I had that within myself. And yet they see me this way. And doesn't that feel good to imagine someone seeing you in that light, despite whatever challenge or struggle that you are feeling? Yes, it's possible for other people to have this perception of you that almost seems distorted in a positive light. And you imagine this person saying about you that you're like an oasis in the desert. Not only an oasis for them, then that they feel this beauty around you. They feel immersed in this peace around you that there is this dreariness and drudgery to their life that they see in contrast to when they're around you. And they're almost having trouble expressing this, like they have this sense of it, and they're having trouble even finding the words to describe it. And it's almost as if you create this oasis within yourself. It's not because you were gifted with a golden spoon, things weren't given to you. It's as if you generated and created this incredible sense within yourself. And I would say what they're really talking about is what we've been talking about in the previous lives, where you're generating this beauty of spirit within yourself, all the qualities of that higher level consciousness. And maybe the person they're with says, "Oh wow, it sounds like they're very spiritual." And they say, "Yeah, they're spiritual, but they're almost beyond spiritual, like they're not the kind of spiritual that puts on a show, but the spiritual that's so embodied that you don't need even to say a word, and it's felt from you. Like this is the impact and the power that you have on them." And then there's this aspect that we talked about in the last live stream of the physical body and the light body being activated and bringing in this light to light up and activate the physical body. And they feel activated when they're in your presence, when they're around you. And it's almost as if the light is just emanating in rings around you, and it's like vibrating and like hitting them like a signal. And it's this light that is emanating from you that they are feeling. And this is difficult for them to express as well. It's nothing like they've ever seen or felt before. And it's this magical, mystical quality. It's like the secrets of ancient Egypt, of the Mayas, that esoteric knowledge that was contained there. It's like you are the embodiment of that mystery. And they can feel that potential that you have of that purification of your body and mind and spirit, and how that is bringing you to greater degrees of contentment and peace and joy and love within yourself. And it's creating this aspiration within them to be the same. And then we can stop and look back at what we've just imagined, or whatever you decide you want to imagine. And I think, wow, you've been really influential to this person in a way that you probably didn't even realize within this imagination. And just let it sink in. Imagine that you found out that they had said this about you. Maybe you don't know how you found out, but somehow you knew that they said this. What would you feel? What would your response be? Whatever it is, just let that settle into your heart, into your being. Let the power of who you are settle into your body. And if tears come, I can feel the tears starting to build. Let them come. Take a breath and exhale. Let this new awareness of what we've just described settle into you. Sometimes when someone says something about you, and you hear about it and it's something positive, sometimes you think, wow, I can't believe they said that. I can't believe they actually think that about me. And this has a similar quality to it that reality does. We can have this disbelief of something positive happening to us in our reality. So think of this as similar. It's okay to have disbelief because that mirrors reality. And we want to step into allowing ourselves to believe it at some level. Even if we're just playing pretend, imagine this as a little game, just resting into that. Let's that little bit of latent potential rise to the surface. Because you know how you have dreams sometimes, and there's part of you that thinks, was that real? Did that actually happen? And then maybe it fools you for a second. Okay, it didn't actually happen, now that I think about it. This is a sort of waking dream that you can have. And maybe you can look back on it and think, oh wait, did that actually happen? And here is the trick of the mind, because the subconscious is so incredibly powerful that it can make these kind of things a reality. And when you let yourself settle into this imagination, what you're doing is impressing that subconscious. When you're relaxed, when you're having fun with it, when you're enjoying the emotions and the ideas and the creativity coming from you. Here we are in the realm of play, of accessing that subconscious and accessing our power in a simple, fun way, thereby allowing that natural inherent magnetism that lies dormant within us to rise to the surface. You have to think about it this way. Everyone wants you to realize your latent potential magnetism, to be able to cast that spell over others. People want to be enthralled, to be entranced by you. So I hope you enjoyed this video in keeping with this season and all the magical energy that surrounds us right now.